If you've ever been stung by a bee, a wasp while driving, and it's so fucking confusing, it's so overwhelming, it feels you just go into panic mode. How is that gonna make you feel if you don't understand what's going on there? You're gonna lash out. So I've been training dogs professionally for over a decade. I've owned a franchise, I've been on my own, I've worked for a multi-million-dollar facility, I've been a dog walker. Worked at daycares, dock diving, hunting dogs, you name it. I've done it all, or most of it at this point. Okay, let's talk about punishing behaviors. This is perfect timing. She's about to get punished right here. It's more of a correction. Okay, so talking about e-collars and correcting, punishing behaviors. Does it work? How does it work? Why does it work? Why does it not work? When does it work? When does it not work? Etc. The most important thing, and what prompted this video, was I spoke to somebody in Ontario that was looking to do e-collar training. Well, she didn't know whether she wanted to do e-collar training. I think she thought she was done with e-collar training because she worked with a professional dog trainer who did it all wrong. Did it all wrong, and it actually made the aggression worse. She had two dogs fighting in the home, and the professional dog trainer, they had the right tool. They actually had the right brand and the wrong size tool. So they had an E-Coller Technologies mini educator for a 60-pound female pit bull that is resource guarding her owners and fighting with other dogs in the household. One other dog in the household. So what the trainer did was, it said, like, when your dog starts to resource guard, hit the button really high. That essentially is a correction or a punishment. Let me define what I define as the difference. A correction is like what Pipa just did to Vogue there, which was like made her uncomfortable enough to deter her from continuing the behavior, but didn't shut her down at all. And what I mean by shut down is like enough pressure that the dog's like, whoa, oh my God, that was intense. That I define as punishment. And punishing behaviors for me comes down to like the dog is going to cause physical harm to themselves or to another creature. So chasing a car, that dog is going to die if it catches the car. Trying to hurt a person or another dog, the dog is potentially going to die as a result of being euthanized for behaviors like that. And so that's a punishment versus a correction. The problem with what the dog trainer suggested was not that inherently hitting the button when the dog starts to resource guard or starts to act aggressively. It's not that that's the problem. It's that there was no foundation. There was zero foundation of what the pressure is, where it's coming from, how to turn it off. It was just bang. And so what's that going to do? If you've ever been stung by a bee, a wasp while driving, that's the best analogy, because that has literally happened to me, and it's so fucking confusing, it's so overwhelming, it feels you just go into panic mode, and then you act out. Like if there's someone beside you and they're, I don't know, making fun of you, teasing you, just being silly, just existing, and you thought it was them, you thought that pressure, that sensation came from them, well, how are you going to act? How is that going to make you feel if you don't understand what's going on there? You're gonna lash out, right? And that's what they were experiencing with the E-Coller. So it's not that punishing behaviors don't work. It works exceptionally well when the dog understands what the pressure is, where it's coming from. And I'm just looking at, maybe I'll turn the camera this way because Vogue is about to get corrected or punished by my black lab over there. So I'm just going to call Peepa back without even talking to her. Good girl. So, Peepa's running back right now. And I'm just watching this about to go down. So Vega probably gave her a little growl there, little verbal correction, which is totally possible. But, the problem with verbal corrections is, does your dog, they get it from dogs because it's typically growl, bite, or pin, or scruff, or some version of physical contact. But if you're just saying, no, 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 this is why an E-Coller is so fantastic. Parker, no, come. Yeah, that's the road, dummy. Perfect example. If he keeps going towards a road, I can easily, non-verbally, with an E-Coller, correct that behavior. I don't have to just keep nagging him. I can create a boundary line with the E-Coller to go, there's a consequence for that behavior. Now, the problem, again, lies in if your dog does not understand the pressure, if your dog does not understand how to turn off the pressure, if your dog doesn't understand alternative behaviors, like if you feel that button, if you feel that pressure, if you feel that discomfort, that pain, sure. If you don't know how to get away from that, and what we do is you just teach the dog regular obedience with the button at a super low level, and then you increase the distraction. So it's like, come, press the button, and it's less than a leash pull. It's like the smallest amount of pressure when you have the right kind of E-Coller. And then as you increase the distraction, you'll need to increase the pressure because they're going to be distracted. Just like you would need to pull the leash a little bit harder if they were distracted by anything, everything, right? And other dogs walking by, somebody comes home, all of that stuff. So that's the idea behind correcting and punishing behaviors. Now, let's talk about it from the perspective of like, you're not involved. If you ever grew up with a wood stove or a stove in general, as a kid, you learn, no matter how many times your mom tells you that the stove is hot, that when you touch it, you go, oh shit, that didn't feel good. That didn't feel nice. I don't think I want to do that behavior again. Come on, guys. And so that's something where if there's no other living creature involved, you can just buy an E-Coller and correct the dog. Initially, it will be confused. And as long as it's a simple behavior like pause on the counter equals, whoa, what is this thing? Barking out the window equals, whoa, what is this thing? And there should be enough levels that it doesn't need to be a punishment. Jumping on the counter shouldn't be a punishable behavior, in my opinion. It should be a correction. So Vega, my lab, can feel as low as 6, but if she wants to chase a goose that I don't want her to chase, then that's going to take a lot more pressure because she's in a super high drive scenario. So counters for her, she can feel as low as 6. Chasing the goose to get her to stop would be like 60. So jumping on the counters for her, a correction might be, I might start at like 15 or 20. And the thing is that you can set up the scenario like, worst case, she licks the peanut butter off the counter that you set up. Well, as long as it's natural peanut butter, it shouldn't be a problem. But when you involve other creatures in that equation, dogs, people, kids, and they don't understand where the pressure is coming from, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you have a dog that bites somebody, and this is where all the purely positive trainers come in and go, it makes the dog more aggressive. Yeah, well, if you get stung by a bee, you're not exactly friendly or happy, are you? But if that bee sting, you know where that came from, and it's from every time you called your mom a bitch, you're going to start avoiding that behavior. Holy mackerel. Doesn't it suck getting taken out by dogs? I'm glad that didn't just happen. Would have been a great way to end the video. If you have questions or comments, put them below. Open discussion. Happy to agree to disagree. You can throw that in the comments too. Oh, and if there's something you want me to discuss, put it in the comments too. Know that you're loved. See you in the next one. Bye, meow.